You're listening to Civic Media. You can tune into any of our live shows on any radio station across the state with the Civic Media app. Find us in your phone's app store and listen anytime, anywhere. This is your WXCO Daily News Roundup for Bull Falls Radio, 98.9 FM and 1230 AM in Wausau.
For WXCO News, I'm Brittany Merlot. A new bill proposed by Wisconsin Democrats aims to designate certain locations as safe havens. Stuart J. Waddles has more.
According to a Wisconsin Watch report, those would be places where immigration officers would be barred. The legislation introduced by state senators seeks to maintain protections for immigrants in places like schools, healthcare facilities, and places of worship. The move follows the Department of Homeland Security's recent cancellation of Biden-era guidelines that limited immigration enforcement in those areas.
And as the Wausau School District continues the consolidation process of elementary schools, their main goal is still to take care of staff, students, and families first as they focus on logistics. Many decisions are still left to be made before the next school year starts in August, and decisions for staff placements have been a work in progress. While principals were assigned schools by the Education Department, teachers took surveys ranking their potential spots. Now, some teachers already have their assignments, and a high percentage were able to get their primary location. And once all of the teachers are placed, the next step will be talks on how to collaborate and bring the best practices from each building together. And the district continues to work with the Red Granite Charter School to determine a new location. The district and school leadership say they've had beneficial meetings, and that they're coming closer to some decisions. The district and bus company First Student are also continuing to collaborate as the bus company determines routes for the coming school year. And the Wausau School District will be hosting a 3-day Bridging the Future community conversation. It'll be on March 6th through the 8th. That's next Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. The event will discuss what has worked well in the district and what can be worked on. Anyone in the community is welcome to attend, but they ask for people to attend all 3 sessions as each day's conversation will build on the former. One person is dead in Vilas County after a snowmobile accident Saturday afternoon. The call came in just before 5 p.m. The Vilas County Sheriff's Office said that the snowmobiler hit a tree along a curve on Trail 15 near Sweet Fern Lane in the town of St. Germain. First responders worked to save the life of the snowmobiler, but they were pronounced dead on the way to the hospital. The person has not been identified, and the accident is still under investigation. And with the warm weather in Wisconsin this week and snowmobile trails already running with minimal snow over the weekend, trails are now closed in many counties, including Marathon, Portage, Taylor, Wood, Lincoln, and Langlade. And a recent study by Wallet Hub found that Wisconsin homeowners pay some of the highest real estate property taxes in the country. The study says Wisconsin ranked 8th in the nation for the highest taxes despite having the 20th lowest median home value. Wisconsin residents pay nearly $4,600 in annual taxes for a median home value, which is significantly more than the national average of about $3,000 per year. Illinois was the only Midwest state to rank higher on the list, paying a median home average of nearly $6,800 per year. And the Wisconsin Realtor Association just released their monthly real estate report, and it's not good news for Marathon County. While home prices are rising across the state, the climb is even steeper here. Statewide, the median home price is up 10.6% from this time last year. But in Marathon County, that median price is up over 17%. And that has had an impact on sales. While the state overall has seen little change, sales in Marathon County are down by over 16%. And realtors say that first-time homebuyers are having a harder time not only finding a home with less inventory, but with interest rates higher, they can't afford it. And this trend has been going on for about 4 years now. Wisconsin legislatures unveiled a right to repair bill. Stuart J. Waddles explains.
It's designed to address what supporters call a, quote, monopoly crisis in agriculture by allowing farmers to repair their own equipment. The proposed legislation would require manufacturers to provide repair documentation and tools at fair cost, while still being able to protect their trade secrets. If passed, Wisconsin would become the 6th state in the country to have right-to-repair laws.
The intent is to lower the cost of repairs for farmers, create more local jobs, and increase competition among service providers. And Weinbrenner Shoe Company celebrated this weekend after the Merrill-based factory was named Manufacturer of the Year by Wisconsin Manufacturers and Commerce. Named winner of the large category with 250 to 499 employees, the company beat out 3 other nominees. 2 of them are also from central Wisconsin. Custom Fabricating and Repair from Marshfield, and right in our backyard, Gamber Johnson in Stevens Point. The other, also close by, was Inland Label and Marketing Services from La Crosse. And who do you think has the most mouth-watering 100% beef burgers in the state? Because nominations are now open for Wisconsin's Beef Council's 2nd annual Wisconsin's Best Burger Contest. Pickles Bar and Grill in Hazelhurst won last year, and they saw a 530% increase in burger sales from April to June after they were announced in the top 8. So you have until March 21st to nominate your favorite burger from any Wisconsin restaurant. You get 1 nomination per person on the Wisconsin Beef Council's website. Then in early April, the WBC will reveal the Elite 8 restaurants with the most nominations. And a secret panel of judges will then head on a delicious journey to taste and evaluate the top contenders. And the grand winner will be announced on May 1st to kick off May Beef Month. It's Black History Month, and Lisa Hale tells us of an African American studies professor who makes Black history daily.
Black History Month is important not just for African Americans, but also for anyone and everyone who wants to understand their fellow countrymen and community members. So says the head of African American Studies in the Sociology Department of the University of Wisconsin-Oshkosh, Dr. Alfonso Simpson. Simpson says so many things that we take for granted every day were invented or made possible by contributions from African Americans.
When we look at the types of things like the elevator, the escalator, the stoplight, or the traffic signal, internal combustion engines, the heating furnace, air conditioning, refrigeration. I mean, there's so many things.
Simpson says Black History Month is not just about the accomplishments of Black Americans, but also an acknowledgement of their struggles.
When you look at what we call the African Holocaust, the transatlantic slave trade, and those 200 plus years of slavery here in America from 1619 to 1865, of course, is more than any of us could ever endure.
But Simpson emphasizes that efforts to teach about Black history and the experience of Black America are not meant to be critical.
It's not about making people feel guilty. It's about bringing people into the knowledge of the truth. And it helps us to all see our fellow man as contributors to the society in which we so enjoy.
Simpson is not only the Director of African American Studies at UWO, he's also the Vice President of the National Council for Black Studies.
Because every day is a donation to eternity. Every day is a donation to history. And anything I do as myself is Black history.
Alfonso Simpson, Professor, Director of African American Studies at UWO, and a modern-day Black history maker. For Civic Media, I'm Lisa Hale.
The Bucks beat the Heat. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with sports. The Bucks were down by 10 at the half, but came back strong in the fourth quarter, defeating the Miami Heat 120-113. Giannis and Damian Lillard were limited, but that opened the door for players like Kyle Kuzma and Kevin Porter Jr., known as Kuz and Scoot. Doc Rivers.
I think Scoot scored a couple of times, then Kuz gets a rebound, breaks out, creates a basket, then Scoot goes back to it. Just gives us a lot of speed, and we try to make sure we have one roller, and I think it's a good fit. The
Bucks head to Houston to play the Rockets tomorrow night. College hoops, the Badgers now 21-6 after losing to Oregon. In overtime Saturday, they host Washington 8 p.m. tomorrow night at the Kohl Center. Marquette is at home tomorrow night against Providence. The Golden Eagles have lost 4 of their last 6 games. And the Milwaukee Panthers losing to Robert Morris 72-59. Robert Morris in first place in the Horizon League. The Panthers dropped to 5th. With sports, I'm Mike Clemens.
On your entertainment beat, I'm Pete Schwaba. More odd yet not surprising news from the Kanye West camp. The New York Post reports that those close to Kanye say he is inhaling nitrous oxide, or laughing gas. Love that stuff. The Post reports that the drug was a major issue between West and recently estranged wife Bianca Censori. According to the Post, West reps are blaming his dentist, Thomas Connolly, for getting him hooked on nitrous again because it messes up his memory, adding that Connolly wants to steal millions of dollars from the rapper. How much cash does Kanye carry on him when he goes to the dentist? Yeah, I'm talking to you. One of the most famous scenes from the film Taxi Driver was Robert De Niro's character, Travis Bickle, asking that very question. De Niro recently appeared on Live with Mark and Kelly and said the whole scene was improvised. Bobby D was nominated for an Oscar for the role. Plans for a sequel to Taxi Driver were ultimately scrapped in 2013 because Martin Scorsese was unhappy with the script. Apparently, there were not enough ad-libs in the world to save it. Trust fund kid Elon Musk has drawn a lot of political criticism lately, but now he's under fire for being a bad parent from his own father. Errol Musk appeared on the Wide Awake podcast and said that his son will probably shoot him for saying this, but Elon is not a good father. This comes after rumors that Musk had fathered a 13th child, somehow with 16 women. Should probably fact check that. It's important to note that just a couple years ago, Errol Musk admitted to having a second child with his stepdaughter, who was only 4 years old when he married the child's mother, according to Rolling Stone. Errol and the girl's mom have 2 children of their own, as Musk apparently wanted his future baby mama to have playmates. For the record, Rolling Stone also reported that Elon Musk is not a fan of his father. He called him a terrible human being who has done every evil thing or crime you could possibly imagine, which is probably why they decided not to have kids together. For more showbiz fun, tune in to Nightlight with me, Pete Schwaba, weeknights from 6 to 8 p.m. on the Civic Media Radio Network. The Andy Griffith Show is one of the most beloved sitcoms of all time. The show's cast included the title character Andy Griffith, Don Knotts as Sheriff Barney Fife, and Ron Howard, who started on the show at the age of 5 and played Andy's son Opie for 8 seasons. The 70-year-old Howard, who is now a director, posted a photo of himself with Griffith and Knotts from a movie set in the late 90s on Instagram last week with a caption that revealed that Howard and Knotts were actually distant cousins. Well, that's kind of cool. There is finally some clarity regarding the notable absences from last week's Saturday Night Live 50th anniversary no-shows. Dan Aykroyd, Bill Hader, and Dana Carvey. And none of it involved snubbing or bad blood. Aykroyd and Hader apparently had previous commitments, and it was just revealed that Dana Carvey could not fly because he had the flu, which makes sense because he was on the show recently portraying Joe Biden. All 3 men vowed to be there for the 100th.
Central Wisconsin weather, I'm Corey Hartman. For today, look for partly sunny skies, mid-40s. West winds will gust up to 25 miles per hour. Tonight, chance of rain or flurries, lows around 27. Partly sunny, 41 on Tuesday. Tuesday night, some snow and 27. 41 Wednesday.
Currently 42 degrees.
That's your WXCO Daily News Roundup from Civic Media. Subscribe to this podcast on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you find your podcasts. Find more news at bullfallsradio.com. The national news cycle never stops, but it can be hard to find news about your local community. Civic Media is dedicated to providing quality local and state news coverage across Wisconsin. With the Civic Media app, you can get notifications about local stories that matter to you and your community. Find the free Civic Media app in your phone's app store and choose notifications from the menu to tell us what kind of news you want to hear about.